5 things you must not do when submitting your Canadian visa application if you want it approved. These 5 things, you must pay attention to each and every one of them, because if you fail on any one of them, you already, shooting yourself on the foot when it comes to your visa application, your Canadian visa application being approved. So this channel, we don't ramble and we don't waste a lot of time. We'll head straight to the business. So what are the 5 things that you must do if you want your Canadian visa to be approved? Number 1 thing you must not do, number 1, very, 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 very important, is submitting fake document. The IRCC has a zero tolerance with fake documents, fake or expired documents. You have to make sure that whatever document you are submitting during your visa application is thoroughly checked by you. You must be sure that it is something that you can testify to, that it is authentic. All your travel documents, starting from your invitation letter, proof of fund documents, your account statements, ties to home country documents, whatever document you're using for your ties to your home, to prove your ties to your home country, whatever document you're using for your proof of fund, your statement of purpose, if you're going for study, your school acceptance letter. This document has to be thoroughly vetted by you and has to be true and authentic as at the time you are submitting this document. Because if IRCC finds out that those documents are fake, your visa could be denied and you could receive a 5-year travel ban from IRCC to Canada. And once a country gives you a travel ban, they update most of the embassies that they have a cordial relationship with. They have a bilateral relationship with, and it could affect even you getting visa from many other countries in the West. So if you're an African, if you're from Nigeria, if you're from Ghana, if you're from Ivory Coast, you're from Kenya, you're from Mali, you're from any part of Africa, and you are applying for a Canadian visa, make sure that the documents that you are submitting is absolutely valid and genuine. A fake document, I am repeating this so that it sinks in, not because I need to repeat them, but because I want you to sink in on how important it is. A fake document can get not just your visa rejected, but get you a 5-year visa ban from Canada. So that leads us to the next second thing you should not do. Do not use an unauthorized agent. Do not use an unauthorized immigration consultant during your visa process, your Canadian visa process. A lot of people in Africa who have not even traveled at all parade themselves as visa agents. And a lot of you people give them your money. The Canadian Immigration Regulatory Body, which is the IRCC, frowns at using unauthorized visa agents during your visa application process. They have made the portal really easy, that you can go through the portal yourself and fill out the forms yourself and be able to submit your application. If you must use anybody, let the person be a guide. Do not just send off money and say, get me a Canadian visa. The person has to just be a guide. The person has to be able to just direct you, guide you, like not you giving out money to some unknown stranger who most times have not even traveled in the first place, but because probably they put up a signboard, they put up an advert on social media that says we can help you get a visa, and then you send them money. Because the problem with the reason why the IRCC frowns at using unauthorized regulated immigration individuals or consultants or whatever you may call them is because most times the documents they send to IRCC are not valid. Most of those people just do those things so that they can make money, because they know whatever may come, it's not part of their business. If your visa is denied, they told us that your visa is denied. If you get a travel ban, no, they won't get to explain to you why you get a travel ban. So first thing, do not submit expired or fake documents during your visa process. Secondly, do not use unauthorized visa agents for your visa application. Third thing, during your visa application, make sure you are not committing what is termed misrepresentation. What are misrepresentation in visa procurement? Misrepresentation is stating things that are not true as though they are true. Examples of misrepresentation is during your visa process, you may be asked your marital status. If you are married, you do not state that you are single. If you are single, do not state that you are married for the visa process, because if the Canadian Immigration Regulatory Body finds out that you have a misrepresentation on your application, it will lead to a visa ban. It will lead to a visa cancellation. I have seen a lady who had a misrepresentation on her visa application. Her visa was even approved and she got to the airport in Canada, the Pearson airport in Toronto, and the CBS, the Canadian Border Service Agency officials find out that she had a misrepresentation on her application, and she was taken back to Nigeria and her visa was cancelled. So misrepresentation is a very huge crime, is a very huge offense in visa procurement process. You must make sure that every information that you are submitting is vetted by you and seen to be true as at the time of the visa application process. Yes, I understand things could change. You could submit an application and in a few months, probably you didn't have a child during the visa application process, and then after submitting and a few months after, you now have a child. That is okay. But as at the time of the visa application process, remember there are dates to everything you are submitting. Remember there are signatures to everything you are submitting. So as at the time of the visa application process, you must make sure that every information that you submitted is seen to be true. So the fourth one on the list is late submission of your application. Every visa application category has a time bound frame to submit your application, from when you started the application process to when you hit the submit application. Like if you're going for express entry has a time bound for you to be able to submit the application. It is necessary to stick with those time frame during the application process. You do not stay outside the time frame. If you stay outside the time frame, you will get your visa application process delayed for more than necessary. You have to check within the time frame of that particular visa application process that you are submitting to know what time frame do I have to get this application submitted, and you have to stick with those time frame. Going outside of the time frame will get your visa process delayed. IRCC has already a lot of backlogs and they will not be waiting for you. Then the fifth one on the list is do not submit an incomplete application. Because you are trying to, catch up with time, and you want to hit the submit button, and you hope if I hit the submit button, they'll be able to ask me to submit the rest of the documents, and then I'll be able to have enough time to be able to do that. But that will still get you into more visa time delays than necessary. So make sure that your application, go through your application at least 3 times to be sure that all the documents that are required. Do I have my itinerary ready on the application? Do I have my proof of fund ready? Do I have my letter of support? Do I have all the nitty-gritty documents that are needed for the application? Has to be ready as at the time you are hitting submit on the application. Because if those documents are not ready, they will not go ahead with processing the application. They will write back to you and say, we need XYZ application. And this thing that I just said now is not as easy as it sounds. It takes time. And that time is a time that must have been used in processing your application. So when you have thoroughly checked the application is complete, then submit. Let's recap on the 5 things you must not do if your Canadian visa application must be approved. What are the 5 things? 1, do not submit fake or expired documents to IRCC. It will get your visa application rejected, and worst case scenario, it will get you a 5-year visa ban. It is a huge offense. Number 2, do not use visa agents. I want to call them visa agents. Do not use those visa agents that roam around in the streets of Africa, in the streets of Ghana, in the streets of Lagos and Abuja. Do not use them during your visa application process. Most of those people have not even traveled before. And I'm not trying to talk down on anyone, but I'm saying I have seen scenarios and cases where people use those visa agents to procure a visa, and they submitted all kinds of documents that cannot be defended by the visa applicant. And those things are a very huge barrier to coming to Canada. Because remember, getting a visa is one thing. Defending your documents with the Canadian border services and another 2 different things. Your visa gets you to Canada. Your visa does not get you into Canada. You have to defend the documents that you submitted during your application process. I've seen where those visa agents submitted, expired conference letters, and the visa applicant arrives at the airport, the point of entry airport in Canada, and they are saying different things, and the application is saying different things, and they are being taken back to their home country. These things happen time and time again. Thirdly, do not submit an incomplete application. Do not submit an incomplete application. While you are trying to catch up with time, I understand that, staying with time, it's a big deal. It's part of what we talked about. But do not submit an incomplete application, because it will not get you a visa ban. It could get your visa rejected, but then it will get you onto unnecessary visa delay. Most people call me and be like, "Hey, William, I have submitted my application. I've submitted my application for over this and that number of time, and I don't know why it's delayed." Blah, 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 blah. And then you ask them, what application did you submit? What document did you submit? And by the time you start talking with them, you find out that they are the cause of the issue and not IRCC. So do not submit an incomplete application. Stick to time. The Canadian government wants you here. The Canadian government wants you in country as long as you have something, to offer to the government. As an international student, they are looking for international students. The schools need people. As a tourist, it's looking for a tourist visa. The hotels need people. The government needs people to fill those hotels. But you have to prove that you have what it takes to meet up with the criteria to be there. So IRCC are not like monsters who doesn't want people to come to Canada. No, you know, the immigration minister all keep increasing the number of people that are needed in the country by the day, by the week, by the month. So that shows the country, the government wants you here, but you have to prove to them that you have what it takes to be here. So do your due diligence. Stick to the requirements. And it is easy. You don't need any visa agent to get a Canadian visa to be in Canada. I have always said this and I will always say that because I went through that same process and I know that you do not need any visa agent to go through the process of getting your visa to Canada as long as you are sticking with the rules. Seek for certified, regulated Canadian immigration consultants and lawyers. Check the Africanadio directory, you will see a list of Canadian immigration lawyers if you need the service of a lawyer for your application. But do not patronize the street quacks who parade themselves as visa agents. Okay? So that's the video for today. Till we come your way next time, we're rooting for you. Here is Africanadio community. Please consider to subscribe if you found value on this video. Consider to share the video so that, you know, other people who are interested in moving to Canada, or at least visiting their friends, their relatives, their family members in Canada can be able to see this video and it could help someone. Until we come your way next time, please stay positive. Please stay impactful. We are rooting for you and we'll see you here. Bye.